Alright, today I'm continuing on with this A7. I replaced the input cable right here onto the amp and the power supply board, which comes off the tone board right here at this point. I used about a 1 foot long piece of this cable, which I've had pretty good luck with. So I also did one section of the input line from this point over onto the selector switch. Now this is what I used there. This is spiral wrapped Teflon, silver plated. It's got an extremely tight shield to it. This looks like this might actually be a little bit better picture there. So it kind of looks like I'm at the point here where I might be just totally plateaued out on this with what can be done. But there is one last thing here, and that's to pull this 4558 out. So I'm going to try to do that lastly and see what the result of that is. So right there is the last alternative. So we're going to give that a try. So I think the best option here is to pull this guy out with some solder wick. Otherwise, if you run the vacuum pump in here, you risk dropping solder down in there into dark territory where you really can't see. So I think that's the best option to get this op amp out. Now I had two options on sockets here. These sockets, the pin diameter is very large, and I didn't want to have to drill those IC holes out on the circuit board that large because the solder pads are very small to start with. So what I'm going to do is I just took the soldering iron and laid it on the top of the pin and just heated it until the pin popped out the front. You know, it may seem funny maybe to somebody, but these little K9 nail cutters are just the best thing in the world. I absolutely use this thing for everything. I've had to tear it apart and beef up the wiring in it a couple times, but it's a great little thing to basically cut anything with. So that's pretty much all there was to that. Just one word of advice, but not even really advice, is if you alcohol this down very heavily, I would definitely wait until you put the power back on, because putting heavy amounts of alcohol around these 2SA 798s in this general area can do some slightly weird things if it's not completely dry when you power it up. Just saying. Here's one last helpful hint on this A7 that I've learned in the past several days. If you're going to be taking it apart a couple times, is when you put the bottom cover on it, put these screws in first, because right there's the little tabs that line up in the bottom, and you can see the cover is slightly out of square if you look down here at this edge. So if you put this the outside screws on first, these don't drop through the bottom panel. So what you have to do is put these in first, and then there's like fingernail holes right here where you can push this up and square the panel up on the bottom to line up the other holes. One other tip on a humorous note to me, semi-humorous anyway. After about 12 times of taking this bottom panel off, it's going to be a good idea to get some like number 5 sheet metal screws and have them on standby, because these here are always the issue, this one and the top one. These generally hold up around the perimeter, but just the front ones. So after replacing that op amp, I would probably put this on about a 3 or 4 scale out of 10 with improvement. What you have to keep in mind is it's kind of an order of operations. I hope maybe I was able to give somebody something useful on this A7. There really isn't much more I can do with this A7 other than try to find a way to improve the LED display on it. I appreciate you watching. Have yourself a nice day.